The architecture of surrender. Have you ever wondered why the most profound moments in a human life happen in total silence? Birth, death, the moment you realize you are in love, the moment you realize you've been betrayed. None of these require a script. Words are often just a clumsy attempt to dress up a truth that is already standing naked in the room. In the dance between a man and a woman, there is a language much older than speech. It is a language of biology, of ancient instincts, and of the quiet, trembling space between two people. Most men are busy listening for a yes. They are waiting for an invitation that is written in ink. But a woman's desire doesn't move like a contract. It moves like the tide. It is slow, inevitable, and governed by forces she herself may not fully understand. If you are waiting for her to say, "I am ready to give myself to you," you might be waiting forever. Not because she doesn't want to, but because the moment she says it out loud, the magic of the mystery vanishes. The question isn't what she's saying. The question is, are you quiet enough to hear what she isn't saying? Are you observant enough to see the yes that is hidden in the way she breathes, the way she occupies space, and the way she slowly dismantles her own defenses? Surrender isn't an event, it is a process. It is the gradual melting of a fortress. Let's look at the first two signs, the ones that exist in the air before a single hand is held. 1. The magnetism of unconscious proximity. There is a law in physics called the inverse square law, but there is a psychological version of it that is far more interesting. When a woman begins to feel the pull of a man, her world starts to tilt in his direction. Observe her feet, observe her shoulders. In a room full of people, a woman who is beginning to surrender her heart and body will subconsciously align her physical self with yours. It's as if an invisible thread is pulling her center of gravity toward you. She will find reasons to be near, not necessarily touching, but within your orbit. If you move to the kitchen, she happens to need a glass of water. If you sit on a couch, she chooses the chair closest to you, even if a more comfortable one is available across the room. But the real sign isn't just that she is close, it's how she behaves in that closeness. A woman who is indifferent will maintain a buffer. She will keep her bag between you. She will cross her arms. She will keep her phone as a shield. But when the desire to give herself begins to take root, the shields drop. She leans in. She exposes the vulnerable parts of her body, her neck, her wrists, the soft underside of her forearms. She isn't thinking about this. Her nervous system has simply decided that you are home, and you don't wear armor at home. The air between you starts to feel thick. If you were to reach out, you wouldn't be breaking a barrier. You would be completing a circuit. 2. The break in the rhythm of the eyes. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but in psychology, the eyes are the map of the nervous system. When a woman is truly attracted to you, when she is reaching that point of wanting to surrender her mystery to you, her eyes will betray her. Most men think desire looks like a long, sultry gaze. In movies, perhaps. In reality, true desire is often much more fragile. It's the micro-glance. She looks at you, you catch her, and she looks away. But look at the way she looks away. Is it with a look of boredom, or is there a small, secret smile? Is there a slight flush in her cheeks? That quick break of eye contact is the sound of a heart skipping a beat. It is the feeling of being caught in a thought she isn't ready to share. She was looking at your mouth. She was imagining your touch. She was projecting a future. And when you caught her, her logic rushed in to hide the evidence. A woman who wants to give herself to you will begin to memorize you. You will catch her studying your hands while you speak or watching the way your eyes move when you laugh. She isn't just looking at a man. She is studying the landscape she is considering entering. This gaze is different from flirting. Flirting is a game. This is an investigation. She is looking for the man beneath the mask. She is looking to see if you are strong enough to hold what she is about to give you. Because for a woman, surrender is the ultimate risk. If she gives you her body, she is giving you the keys to her peace. She needs to know if your hands are steady.
The softening of the will. If the first stage of desire is physical proximity, the second stage is a shift in her internal weather. A woman's surrender is rarely a sudden collapse. It is more like the way a winter lake thaws, unnoticeable at first, until suddenly the ice is gone. As she moves closer to the decision to give you her time, her heart, and her body, you will notice that her social mask begins to crack. We all have one. It's the polite, guarded version of ourselves we show the world to stay safe. But with you, that mask is becoming heavy. She is tired of wearing it. 3. The invitation of personal shadows. A woman will never fully give her body to a man she does not trust with her soul. In the modern world, we're told that physical intimacy is just a recreational act, but our biology hasn't caught up to our culture. Deep down, in the limbic system of her brain, intimacy still carries the weight of vulnerability. One of the most profound signs she is ready to surrender is when she stops trying to be perfect and starts being real. She begins to tell you about her shadows, the parts of her story that aren't for public consumption, her failures, her complicated relationship with her family, the things that keep her awake at 3 a.m. She isn't just venting, she is testing the floorboards. She is seeing if you can handle her weight. If you react with judgment, or if you are too quick to try and fix her, she will retreat. But if you listen with a calm, stoic presence, if you hold space for her without flinching, she realizes that you are a container strong enough to hold her deepest self. This emotional exposure is a prerequisite for physical surrender. By showing you her wounds, she is giving you a map of her heart. If you can navigate that map without getting lost, she will eventually trust you with the keys to the house. 4. The frequency of the voice. Sound is vibration, and vibration is a direct reflection of the nervous system. When a woman is in a state of high alert or professional distance, her voice is often higher, sharper, and more rhythmic. It is a voice designed to convey information, not emotion. But pay attention to the tone she uses when it is just the two of you, late at night or in a quiet corner. Does her voice drop an octave? Does it become slower? Does it carry a certain breathiness? This is the biological whisper. It is a sign that her body is entering a state of relaxation and arousal. When the parasympathetic nervous system takes over, the muscles in the throat relax, the heart rate slows, the voice becomes an instrument of intimacy rather than a tool for communication. If she speaks to you in a way she speaks to no one else, with a softness that feels almost like a secret, she is already inviting you into her private world. She is speaking to you from a place of we rather than I. Listen to the pauses. Listen to the way her breath hitches before she answers a question. The silence between her words is where her desire is hiding. 5. The ritual of subtle correction. There is an old Stoic observation that we only care about the appearance of things we value. If a woman is indifferent to you, she doesn't care if her hair is messy or if her posture is slumped. She is off duty. But when she wants to give herself to you, she enters a state of perpetual refinement. You will see her performing small, almost invisible rituals of correction. She smooths her skirt. She tucks a strand of hair behind her ear, exposing her neck. She reapplies her lip balm. She straightens her back when you walk into the room. These are not acts of vanity. They are acts of courtship. She is subconsciously trying to present the most optimal version of her femininity to your masculine gaze. It is her way of saying, I want to be beautiful for you. More importantly, watch how she reacts to your appearance. Does she reach out to fix your collar? Does she brush a piece of lint off your shoulder? In the animal kingdom, this is called allo-grooming. In the human world, it is a sign of high-level intimacy and claim. By touching you in these small, helpful ways, she is testing the boundaries of your skin. She is claiming a small piece of your space to see if you will let her in further. She is preparing for the moment when there are no more boundaries left.
The threshold of the unspoken. There is a final stage in the architecture of surrender. It is the moment where the tension becomes so heavy that words actually become an obstacle. At this point, she has checked your character. She has tested the emotional floorboards. She has shared her shadows. Now, her body begins to make a decision that her mind has been debating for weeks. This is the stage of the threshold. It is the most delicate part of the dance, where one wrong move can cause a total retreat, but the right presence leads to total surrender. 6. The permission of lingering touch. In a world that is increasingly afraid of physical contact, the way a woman handles touch is the ultimate barometer of her intent. But it isn't the big touches that matter. It is the ones that shouldn't be there yet are. Watch her hand when you pass her a glass. Does she let her fingers graze yours for a second longer than necessary? When you tell a joke and she laughs, does she reach out and rest her hand on your forearm, leaving it there just a beat too long? This is called lingering. In her mind, she is testing the chemistry. She is feeling the heat of your skin. She is seeing if your energy matches hers. If she were uninterested, her touch would be functional, quick, efficient, and distant. But when she is ready to give herself to you, her touch becomes sticky. It clings. It is a silent form of permission. She is giving you a green light, but she is doing it in a way that she can still deny if she gets scared. She is waiting for you to notice. She is waiting for you to be the man who isn't afraid to take the lead once the door has been cracked open. The final test, the pull of absence. Before a woman fully surrenders, she will often perform one final unconscious maneuver. It is the Stoic retreat. Suddenly, after days or weeks of closeness, she might pull back. She becomes a little quieter. She takes longer to text. She seems a bit more distant when you are together. Most men panic here. They think they've lost her. They start chasing, begging, and asking what's wrong. But if you understand the psychology of desire, you know that this isn't a sign of disinterest. It is a sign of fear. She is realizing how much power you have over her. She is realizing that she is on the verge of giving you her complete surrender, and that realization is terrifying. She pulls back to see if she still exists without you. She pulls back to see if you will chase her like a child or stand firm like a man. If you react with desperation, you break the spell. You show her that you are not the stable mountain she thought you were. But if you remain calm, if you give her the space to feel the void of your absence, her own desire will become her greatest enemy. The silence will start to haunt her. She will realize that the safety of her distance is much colder than the risk of your touch. When she returns from this retreat, and she almost always does, she returns with her walls completely gone. She has tested the cage, found that you aren't holding her captive, and decided to fly in on her own. The reflection in the mirror. We spend so much of our lives trying to solve the puzzle of another person. We want a map, we want a manual, we want a clear signpost that says, "Enter here." But the deeper truth is that a woman's surrender is a mirror of your own presence. She doesn't give herself to a man because he is perfect or because he said the right lines. She gives himself because of how she feels when she is standing in his shadow. Does she feel safe? Does she feel seen? Does he feel that he is a man who can handle the truth of her without being crushed by it?
Desire is not a loud, crashing wave. It is the quiet, steady rise of the tide. It is the way she sighs when she finally sits next to you. It is the way she lets the silence hang between you, no longer feeling the need to fill it with noise. When a woman is ready to give you her body and her soul, she won't announce it. She will simply stop resisting. The struggle ends, the armor falls, the distance vanishes. And in that final heavy silence, you will realize that you didn't win her. You simply created a world where she felt it was safe enough to finally stop fighting and let herself be found. The signs were always there. You just had to be still enough to see them. The greatest truths are never whispered in the ears of the restless. They are revealed only to those who have the patience to watch the shadows move.